be upon you, grade 10. Welcome to the English class, and now it's the time to discuss the metamorphosis. First of all, what's the meaning of that word, metamorphosis? Metamorphosis means the change of physical form or structure or substance, especially by supernatural means. It means that we're going to read about a change that happened to the major character here with us. And now move to read about the author's background and try to make inference about the major theme in that novella by reading the background and read about the most important issues that the author wrote about in his age. Our author is Frank Kafka. He was born in Prague and overcome emotional, physical, and financial struggles to become a leading 20th century writer. He was concerned about some issues like oppression and isolation. When you read about the background of this novella, you'll find it's translated from Czech to English. And now let's discuss the most important points in that novella. Let's scroll down. Please give yourself the chance to read the first paragraph and answer this question. What does Kafka reveal about the main character in the first paragraph? The question again. What does Kafka reveal about the main character in the first paragraph? After reading the first paragraph, you'll discover that the major character here has been transformed overnight into an insect. And actually we have some words that clarify this idea, like for example, like the word here, troubled dreams. So it means that he lives in distress, okay? And he found himself transformed in his bed into a horrible vermin. What's the meaning of the word vermin? Vermin means a creature that's considered destructive or annoying. And also we have some words like his many legs and his armor-like back. So these words reveal that he transformed to be an insect or a cockroach. And then move down to read paragraph 2 and answer this question. Which theme can you get from lines 10 and 11? The question again, which theme can you get from lines 10 and 11? Please read these lines and try to find an answer for that question. Actually, when you read some words like too small or for familiar was, you'll discover that the main theme here that is being dehumanized by society leads to immense isolation. Again, the character here was dehumanized by society that led to his isolation. When you go on reading, you'll discover that the main character is a salesman. Throughout page 94, you're going to learn about the major character's feelings and emotions concerning his job, concerning his life, and concerning his boss. That's why your task now is to read to line 48 and try to make inference about the major character's feeling and emotions. And in order to get an answer for that question, I'm going to ask you 3 questions that will lead to your inference by the end. The first question is, how does he initially react to his situation? The answer will be found in that paragraph, starting from Gregor till before. The question again, how does he initially react to his situation? The second question is, what does he feel about his job? How does he feel about his job? And actually, you're going to find that or the answer of that question in this paragraph, starting from O till the end of the paragraph shudder. The third question is, how does he feel about the gentlemen that are always still sitting there in their offices eating their breakfasts? By answering these three questions, you're going to make inference about the major character, about the main character here, and his emotions. Actually, when you read the second paragraph in this page, and when you consider his situation when he discovered the change that happened to his body, he wants to go back to sleep and forget his effort, forget his life, and forget himself. Okay, and this indicates his depression towards his life, towards his job. It means that he doesn't have that passion to life. And here we encounter the life of a depressed young man who loses hope in himself and in his life. In the next paragraph, he complains about how he dislikes his job. He is an itinerant salesman. That's why he thinks his job strenuous, that demands energy and effort. And here you have to use the context clues in order to get the meaning of this unfamiliar word strenuous. Actually, the clue words or the context clues are going to be discovered when you move on and read the part of traveling day in and day out. So it means that it needs a lot of traveling. So he is an itinerant salesman and his job is strenuous. So strenuous means something that demands energy and effort. The highlighted part in this paragraph reveals the theme of isolation, which is one of the most important themes in this novella. Later, when you're asked about the theme of isolation, or when you're asked to cite textual evidence about the theme of isolation in this novella, the highlighted part is an evidence that proves the theme of isolation and being alone in this novella. So please consider this part, take your note, underline this part in your book. When we move on to the next paragraph, you'll find that the main character here goes on to complain about his job and how tiring it is, especially when he has to get up early all the time. And he hoped to be like the gentlemen that are sitting and eating their breakfast while he was doing his work. When you consider the three former points, you're going to discover or find out the main inference here that you have to make about this page, which is that the main character here is just as disgusted with his life as a human as he is with being an insect. So he cannot find a difference between being an insect or being a human, because he's always dehumanized by the society that he lives in, and he is isolated by the friends and even by the family. When you move on and read the last three lines in this page, you're going to find out the relationship between the main character and his boss. Actually, this part reveals that he doesn't like his boss, but he has to work in order to pay his parents' debts. Actually, his family has some financial problems. That's why he's working with the boss that he didn't like. Actually, some authors manipulate time in a text through pacing. Alternating the paces in a narrative is an effective way to build tension or suspense. And now you have to read this part in order to answer the question, how does Kafka use pacing to create a sense of panic? When you navigate that page, you'll find many words indicating time. Like, for example, 6:30, like 6:45, like the 5 o'clock. Some words that indicate hasty here, like moving forward, like catching the train, and so on. These words and phrases create the sense of panic because the main character says he must get up and ready in order to catch the 5 o'clock train. But when he looks at the clock, he sees it's already 6:30, and even later than that, almost 6:45. By moving time quickly forward, in just one sentence, Kafka instills in the reader the sense of panic the main character feels. And then he proceeds to talk about his boss that would get angry if he discovered his absence. His boss and even the doctor don't believe that he becomes sometimes ill. They think that he's too lazy to work. By moving on, you're going to discover the main problem that the main character suffers from. The real problem is that Gregor needs repose, needs rest, needs to sleep. He needs to be treated like a human. We've come to an end. We've finished the first part in this novella, and please wait for the other videos. Thanks for watching.